Imagine discovering a family whose level of privilege and influence seems almost beyond belief. A family so famous and so deeply connected to wealth that even the clothing worn by its youngest members can sell out worldwide within hours and create a significant boost for entire industries. Today, we're taking a closer look at one of the most captivating stories of wealth, influence, and legacy in modern history: the British royal family. For years, the media has described the royals as living a lifestyle that appears almost unimaginable to ordinary people. Their world is filled with historic palaces, vast estates, priceless collections, and traditions that stretch back centuries. Yet one of the most interesting aspects of their story is the contrast between perception and reality. Although the British royal family is often associated with limitless wealth, estimates place their combined fortune at around $28 billion as of 2025. By any standard, that is an extraordinary amount of money. However, it is far from the trillion-dollar image that many people associate with the monarchy. So how did this perception emerge, and why does it continue to capture public imagination? Part of the answer lies in the unique nature of royal wealth. Unlike traditional fortunes built solely through business or investments, royal wealth is connected to history, national institutions, cultural significance, and assets that have accumulated over generations. Their access to dozens of residences, including castles, palaces, and historic estates, creates a level of prestige that few individuals or families can match. Consider the priceless treasures connected to the monarchy. The royal collection includes hundreds of works attributed to some of history's greatest artists, while the crown jewels contain gemstones and artifacts of immense historical and financial value. These assets represent more than money. They symbolize centuries of heritage and influence, creating an image of wealth that feels almost impossible to measure. One of the most remarkable examples of royal influence can be seen through the younger generation. Imagine a young prince appearing in a simple birthday photograph wearing an affordable shirt. Within a matter of hours, the item completely sells out. This isn't a rare occurrence. It has happened so frequently that experts have given it a name: the Prince George effect. Analysts estimate that Prince George's influence on the British economy could reach billions of pounds throughout his lifetime. Even more remarkable, projections suggest that Princess Charlotte may generate an even greater economic impact due to the size and reach of the women's fashion market. Think about that for a moment. These children don't promote products in the traditional sense. They simply appear in public, attend family events, or are photographed during official occasions. Yet their choices influence consumer demand on a massive scale. A cardigan, a dress, or a pair of shoes can suddenly become one of the most sought-after items in the country. Their mother, Catherine, Princess of Wales, has demonstrated a similar influence for years. Fashion experts often refer to the Kate effect, a phenomenon where products she wears experience dramatic increases in popularity and sales. Brands have seen inventory disappear almost overnight after she is photographed wearing their designs. This level of influence raises an interesting question. Perhaps the perception of trillion-dollar wealth is not solely about assets and bank accounts. Perhaps it is also about the ability to influence markets, shape trends, and generate economic activity simply through visibility and public interest. When examining the finances of the royal family more closely, the picture becomes even more fascinating. King Charles III is estimated to possess a personal fortune ranging from hundreds of millions to well over $1 billion, depending on how inherited assets and private holdings are valued. The complexity of royal finances makes precise calculations difficult, as private estates, trusts, and long-standing financial arrangements often overlap. Following the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, King Charles inherited valuable private properties, including Balmoral Castle and Sandringham House. These estates have been associated with the royal family for generations and represent both financial value and historical significance. Prince William's financial position is equally impressive. Much of his wealth is linked to the Duchy of Cornwall, a vast estate established in the 14th century. The duchy generates substantial annual income through agriculture, property rentals, environmental projects, and commercial activities. What makes the Duchy of Cornwall particularly remarkable is its longevity. Created nearly 7 centuries ago, it was designed to provide financial support for future heirs to the throne. Over time, it has evolved into one of the most successful and enduring examples of generational wealth in the world. The estate spans tens of thousands of hectares and continues to grow through careful management and long-term planning. It demonstrates how royal wealth differs from many modern fortunes. Rather than being built over decades, it has been cultivated and preserved across centuries. However, there is an important perspective that often gets overlooked. Despite their immense wealth and influence, the British royal family is not the wealthiest royal household in the world. Several royal families possess significantly larger fortunes, particularly those whose wealth is closely tied to natural resources, large-scale investments, and vast national assets. The royal family of Saudi Arabia, for example, is frequently estimated to control wealth measured in the trillions of dollars. Other royal households in the Middle East also rank among the wealthiest families on Earth. Yet the British monarchy possesses something that cannot easily be measured by financial statements alone. It has global recognition, cultural influence, historical prestige, and a story that has captivated audiences for generations. Their power extends beyond money into symbolism, tradition, and international fascination. That unique combination of history, visibility, and influence may be the real reason the British royal family is often associated with a level of wealth that feels almost mythical. While the numbers themselves are extraordinary, it is their ability to shape public attention, inspire worldwide interest, and remain central to global conversations that truly sets them apart. Today, the monarchy is estimated to hold assets worth tens of billions of dollars, while its broader economic influence reaches even higher levels. Beyond direct wealth, the institution contributes billions annually to the British economy through tourism, global attention, cultural significance, and commercial activity. This is where influence becomes as valuable as money itself. Before moving any further, there is another aspect of royal finances that deserves attention because it highlights how dramatically the monarchy's funding structure has changed over the past decade. The sovereign grant, which supports the official duties of the monarchy, has grown significantly since its introduction in 2012. What began as funding of less than £50 million annually has increased substantially over time. By the 2025 to 2026 financial year, the figure had risen beyond £100 million, reflecting both the expanding responsibilities of the institution and changes in the revenue generated by royal assets. The source of this funding is particularly interesting. The sovereign grant is linked to profits produced by the Crown Estate, one of the largest property portfolios in the United Kingdom. This vast collection includes commercial buildings, farmland, coastal holdings, and rapidly expanding renewable energy developments. As the Crown Estate's profitability increases, so does the amount allocated to support official royal activities. In recent years, growing returns from offshore wind energy projects have contributed significantly to these revenues, creating one of the most successful periods in the estate's modern history. This arrangement traces its origins back to the 18th century, when King George III agreed to surrender revenues from Crown lands in exchange for government funding. More than 2 centuries later, that agreement continues to shape the financial relationship between the monarchy and the state. Supporters argue that the system generates substantial value for the country, while critics continue to debate the role of public funding in supporting a modern royal institution. Regardless of where one stands on the issue, there is no denying that the financial structure surrounding the monarchy is unlike anything found elsewhere in the world. Yet the true fascination begins when we move beyond the numbers and step inside the daily routines of royal life, because the reality is often even more extraordinary than people imagine. For 70 years, Queen Elizabeth II stood at the center of this carefully organized world. Her daily schedule reflected a level of discipline and consistency that remained largely unchanged throughout her reign. Each morning began at approximately 7:30 a.m. After waking, she would spend a few quiet moments listening to the news before receiving her first cup of tea of the day. Every detail followed long-established routines that had been refined over decades. The Queen's morning preparations were known for their remarkable precision. Staff members carefully coordinated each stage of the day, ensuring that schedules, clothing, correspondence, and official documents were ready well before her. Duties began. Attention to detail extended throughout every aspect of royal life. Outfits were selected according to engagements, weather conditions, and ceremonial requirements. During particularly busy periods, multiple wardrobe changes could take place in a single day, each one prepared and organized by an experienced team. Breakfast was followed by one of the most important parts of her daily routine: reviewing correspondence and official papers. Hundreds of letters and documents required attention, alongside the famous red dispatch boxes containing government reports, state documents, and constitutional matters. These responsibilities were not occasional tasks. They formed part of a daily commitment that continued throughout her reign, illustrating the administrative workload that accompanies the public image of royalty. Later in the afternoon came one of the monarchy's most recognizable traditions: tea. Served with carefully prepared refreshments, it provided a brief moment of routine, within a schedule filled with meetings, ceremonies, and official responsibilities. While many people focus on the glamour associated with royal life, these long-standing routines reveal another side of the institution, one built upon structure, discipline, and consistency. Of course, daily schedules are only part of what separates royal life from ordinary experience. The truly extraordinary distinction lies in the collections, artifacts, and treasures connected to the monarchy. Among the most remarkable holdings is the Royal Collection, one of the largest and most significant art collections on Earth. It contains works by some of history's greatest masters and spans centuries of artistic achievement. Particularly notable are the hundreds of drawings created by Leonardo da Vinci. These rare works provide direct insight into the mind of one of history's most celebrated geniuses. Sketches, studies, and designs that helped shape Renaissance art remain preserved as part of a collection unlike any other. The broader collection includes masterpieces associated with renowned artists such as Michelangelo, Rembrandt, and Raphael, along with countless historical artifacts accumulated over generations. For most people, viewing a world-famous masterpiece requires a special museum visit. For members of the royal family, extraordinary works of art form part of the surroundings in which they live and work. Then there are the crown jewels, perhaps the most recognizable symbols of royal heritage. Among them is the famous Koh-i-Noor diamond, a gemstone whose history spans continents and centuries. Revered for both its beauty and historical significance, it remains one of the most discussed diamonds in the world. Equally impressive are the Cullinan diamonds, cut from the largest gem-quality rough diamond ever discovered. These stones are incorporated into some of the monarchy's most important ceremonial regalia and remain among the most valuable gemstones ever found. Collectively, the crown jewels represent far more than financial value. They symbolize continuity, history, and national tradition. Preserved for ceremonial use rather than private sale, they occupy a unique place where wealth and heritage become inseparable. The royal property portfolio is equally astonishing. Buckingham Palace stands as one of the world's most famous residences. With hundreds of rooms, state chambers, offices, reception areas, and staff accommodations, it functions not only as a home but also as the administrative headquarters of the monarchy. Its scale is difficult to comprehend. Vast halls, grand staircases, historic artwork, and ceremonial spaces combine to create a building that serves both practical and symbolic purposes. Then there is Windsor Castle, a residence with a history stretching back more than 1,000 years. As the oldest continuously inhabited castle in the world, it remains one of the monarchy's most treasured properties and has served generations of kings and queens. Together, these estates represent far more than luxury real estate. They are living pieces of history, maintained not merely as residences but as enduring symbols of one of the world's oldest institutions. Among the royal family's most cherished properties is Balmoral Castle in Scotland, a private estate covering roughly 50,000 acres of breathtaking countryside. For generations, it has served as the monarchy's preferred summer retreat, offering a rare sense of privacy away from public life. The estate holds deep emotional significance, not only as a place where long-standing family traditions have been preserved, but also as the residence where Queen Elizabeth II spent her final days. Another treasured royal residence is the Sandringham Estate in Norfolk. Spanning approximately 19,000 acres, It has long been associated with the family's Christmas celebrations. For more than a century, members of the royal family have gathered there during the holiday season, continuing traditions passed down through generations. The list of royal residences extends far beyond these estates. Kensington Palace, long associated with Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, remains one of London's most recognizable royal homes. Then there are historic properties such as Clarence House, St. James's Palace, Hampton Court Palace, and the Palace of Holyrood House in Edinburgh. Each residence represents not only substantial financial value but also centuries of history, tradition, and national significance. Yet some of the most extraordinary aspects of royal life have little to do with property or money. Certain privileges attached to the monarchy exist entirely outside the experiences of ordinary citizens. The reigning monarch does not require a passport or driver's license in the same way other individuals do. Official expenses related to state duties are handled through established institutional arrangements, creating a lifestyle unlike any other public role in the world. There are also historic customs that have survived for centuries. Some laws and traditions dating back hundreds of years technically remain part of Britain's constitutional framework, serving as fascinating reminders of the monarchy's medieval origins. While many of these ancient rites have little practical impact today, they illustrate the remarkable continuity of an institution that has endured for nearly 1,000 years. Education has always been a major priority for younger members of the royal family. Prince George and Princess Charlotte currently attend prestigious schools designed to provide both academic excellence and personal development. Their educational paths reflect a long-standing royal tradition of preparing future generations for lives lived under intense public attention and responsibility. Royal weddings provide another glimpse into the unique scale of royal life. When Prince William married Catherine in 2011, the event captured worldwide attention. Millions watched as the ceremony unfolded, transforming what would normally be a private family occasion into a global cultural moment. The celebration generated enormous international interest, drawing attention from audiences across every continent. To fully understand royal finances, it is essential to examine the historic institutions that support them. Chief among these are the duchies, centuries-old estates created to provide long-term financial stability for the monarchy. The Duchy of Cornwall, established in the 14th century, consists of extensive agricultural land, commercial developments, residential properties, and investment holdings. Today, it generates substantial annual revenue while maintaining assets valued in the billions. Similarly, the Duchy of Lancaster serves as a major source of income for the sovereign. Spread across thousands of hectares and numerous properties, it has remained a central component of royal finances for generations. What makes these estates unique is that they are not treated like ordinary private assets. Their purpose is not simply to create wealth for one individual. Instead, they are structured to be preserved and transferred from one generation to the next, ensuring long-term continuity. This approach has allowed royal wealth to endure across centuries. While businesses rise and fall and fortunes are often lost within a few generations, these historic structures were specifically designed to support the monarchy far into the future. Transportation offers another fascinating glimpse into royal life. The royal vehicle collection includes a range of historic and modern automobiles, from state limousines used during official ceremonies to specially designed vehicles built with advanced security features. Many of these vehicles have become part of royal history themselves, carrying monarchs through coronations, jubilees, state visits, and other landmark occasions. Travel arrangements are equally impressive. Official journeys frequently involve detailed planning, extensive logistical support, and carefully coordinated security operations. Whether traveling by aircraft, helicopter, or the famous royal train, every aspect of the journey is designed to ensure efficiency, safety, and continuity of official duties. The royal train in particular remains one of the most distinctive symbols of royal travel. More than simply transportation, it functions as a mobile residence and workspace, allowing members of the royal family to continue official responsibilities while traveling across the country. Private holidays are managed with similar precision. Destinations are carefully selected to provide privacy, security, and comfort while allowing family members rare opportunities to step away from public engagements. However, despite the grandeur, wealth, and tradition that surround the monarchy, it remains an institution that must constantly adapt to changing public expectations. In recent years, The royal family has faced periods of significant challenge and intense public scrutiny. Modern communication, social media, and around-the-clock news coverage have transformed the way royal affairs are viewed and discussed around the world. One of the most widely reported developments involved Prince Andrew, whose public role within the royal family underwent major changes following years of controversy and sustained public criticism. Concerns surrounding his associations and legal controversies generated widespread media attention and placed considerable pressure on the monarchy. As public debate intensified, a series of decisions were made that significantly reduced his official role and public responsibilities. The situation represented one of the most difficult challenges faced by the institution in recent decades. For many observers, it illustrated the monarchy's efforts to balance tradition with modern expectations of accountability and public trust. Historically, such dramatic changes within the royal family have been rare. Major alterations to titles, duties, and public positions have occurred only occasionally over the centuries, making these developments particularly significant. More broadly, the episode highlighted a reality that is often overlooked. Behind the pageantry, ceremonies, and historic traditions, the monarchy remains an institution that must respond to public opinion, political realities, and the changing standards of modern society. The British royal family may possess immense wealth, extraordinary privileges, and centuries of history, but its continued relevance depends on its ability to evolve. In a world that changes faster than ever before, maintaining that balance between tradition and transformation may be the greatest challenge the monarchy has ever faced. The significance of Prince Andrew's fall from prominence becomes even clearer when viewed in historical context. Few members of the royal family have experienced such a dramatic shift in status within modern times. As part of efforts to move beyond years of controversy, Andrew is expected to relocate to a residence on the Sandringham estate, with arrangements reportedly supported privately by King Charles. The move is widely seen as an attempt to close a difficult chapter while minimizing further public debate. Meanwhile, his daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, continue to retain their royal titles. But like many members of the extended royal family, they have increasingly pursued independent careers and financial self-sufficiency outside the traditional framework of royal duties. However, Andrew's situation is only one element of a much larger transformation taking place within the monarchy. Since becoming king, Charles has been pursuing a long-term vision often described as a slimmed-down monarchy. The concept is straightforward yet significant. Fewer working royals, lower operational costs, and a greater focus on those directly connected to the line of succession. This shift represents one of the most substantial reorganizations of the royal institution in decades. The center of royal life has gradually moved away from Buckingham Palace and toward Windsor, a trend that accelerated during the later years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. Even after the completion of Buckingham Palace's extensive renovation project, the palace is expected to function primarily as an administrative and ceremonial headquarters rather than a full-time residence. The change reflects a broader effort to modernize the monarchy and align it more closely with contemporary expectations. Operational restructuring has also affected staffing, property arrangements, and financial management. The emphasis increasingly centers on efficiency, accountability, and demonstrating value to the public. Members of the extended royal family are expected to rely less on institutional support and more on their own professional pursuits. This approach allows resources to be concentrated on the core members of the monarchy while reducing overall expenditure. At the center of this future-focused strategy stands the Wales family. Prince William, Catherine, Princess of Wales, and their children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, have increasingly become the public face of the monarchy's next generation. Throughout recent years, carefully selected public appearances have helped project an image of stability, continuity, and family unity. Whether attending national celebrations, sporting events, or charitable engagements, their presence has been designed to strengthen public connection with the institution's future. William's role on the international stage has also expanded significantly. He has represented the monarchy at major global events and undertaken increasingly important responsibilities on behalf of the crown. Catherine's public work has continued to focus heavily on childhood development, mental well-being, and family support initiatives. Following her recovery and return to public engagements, she has remained one of the monarchy's most admired and influential figures. This growing emphasis on the Wales family serves several important purposes. It provides stability during a period of transition, strengthens confidence in the future reign of William, and allows the younger generation to gradually become familiar figures to the public. The economic influence of the younger royals further reinforces their importance. Earlier, we discussed estimates suggesting that Prince George and Princess Charlotte could contribute billions of pounds in economic value through their influence over tourism, fashion, retail, and public interest. These figures are more than fascinating statistics. They illustrate how closely the monarchy's public image is linked to its broader economic impact. This connection becomes particularly important when discussing public funding. The sovereign grant remains one of the most debated aspects of the monarchy. Supporters argue that the institution generates significant economic benefits through tourism, international attention, and the revenues produced by crown assets. Critics, meanwhile, question whether public funds should continue supporting royal operations at current levels. The debate becomes especially intense during periods of economic uncertainty, when public spending faces heightened scrutiny. Supporters point out that revenues generated through crown estate activities contribute substantial sums to public finances. Critics counter that perceptions of privilege can become difficult to justify when many citizens face financial pressures of their own. Recognizing this reality, King Charles has repeatedly emphasized efficiency, modernization, and responsible financial management as key priorities of his reign. Beyond financial reforms, Charles has also introduced symbolic changes intended to mark the beginning of a new royal era. Updated national symbols, modernized institutional branding, and adjustments to royal operations all reflect an effort to balance tradition with contemporary expectations. While maintaining the monarchy's historic foundations, these changes signal a desire to adapt rather than remain static. The king has also demonstrated a willingness to take decisive action when he believes the institution's reputation is at stake, reinforcing the message that protecting public confidence remains a priority. At the same time, no discussion of the modern royal family would be complete without addressing the continuing relationship between Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and the wider institution. Since stepping away from senior royal duties, Harry and Meghan have established independent careers and built a life outside the traditional royal structure. Their commercial ventures, media projects, and public initiatives have created a distinct path separate from the monarchy. Their departure sparked worldwide discussion and raised broader questions about the balance between personal freedom and institutional responsibility. The couple's wedding generated enormous global attention and significant economic activity, highlighting the influence they once brought to the royal brand. Their decision to pursue a different future, therefore, carried implications extending beyond family dynamics alone. Questions surrounding reconciliation continue to attract public interest, though the long-term direction of these relationships remains uncertain. More broadly, the situation reflects one of the defining challenges facing modern royal life: balancing individual aspirations with the expectations that accompany membership in one of the world's most famous institutions. As we look toward the future, the monarchy's financial foundations appear relatively secure. Historic estates continue generating substantial income, long-term assets continue appreciating in value, and investments linked to emerging industries may create additional revenue streams for years to come. Yet financial stability alone does not guarantee public support. The larger question concerns legitimacy in a rapidly changing world. Many continue to ask whether historic privileges remain appropriate in modern society. Others argue that the monarchy's cultural, economic, and symbolic contributions justify its continued role. These debates are unlikely to disappear anytime soon. The monarchy's future may ultimately depend on its ability to demonstrate not only economic value but also relevance, purpose, and a meaningful connection to the people it serves. Supporters point to the institution's ability to provide continuity during times of change, preserve national traditions, and represent the country on the world stage. Critics continue to question whether those benefits outweigh the costs and privileges associated with royal life. How successfully King Charles navigates these competing perspectives may define his reign more than any ceremony, title, or constitutional responsibility. And so we arrive at the reality behind the extraordinary world of the British royal family. It is a world filled with historic palaces, priceless collections, centuries-old traditions, and influence that stretches far beyond financial wealth. It is a world where public image can shape industries, where family decisions can become international headlines, and where history and modernity constantly collide. The monarchy stands at a crossroads, reshaping itself for a new generation while attempting to preserve the traditions that have sustained it for centuries. Whether those efforts will secure its future remains one of the most fascinating questions of our time. What is certain, however, is that few families in history have occupied a position quite like that of the House of Windsor. A family whose story continues to captivate millions around the world. Now we'd love to hear from you. Which part of royal life surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to explore more fascinating stories waiting for you on the channel.